So yeah, we're gonna start the program right now. Thank you, Steffi Owaifu, for joining us all the way from Germany.
Thank you, Miss Netman. Thanks for having me. This is a great opportunity. Yeah, and like I said before, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to join in. So yeah, let's get it going.
The first day I saw your video on Facebook, I was amazed with what I saw. I said, "Oh my God, I've never seen a young person teaching the Edo language so eloquently like this." So I shared the video to one of my Facebook pages. And luckily for me, my brother in Germany introduced you to me a few days ago. So I was so happy to say a honor to have you with me in the studio today. So I know that you are teaching the Edo language online. Tell us your motivation.
Oh, okay. Where do I even start? Again, thank you for this platform that you've created here. This great platform, all about Edo and like Edo culture, promoting Edo culture, and yeah, I think we can all just the way I'm doing my own, with the language, with a specific focus on the language. You are also here promoting the whole, like the culture in general, everything concerning Edo language, but Edo culture. Sorry. Um, Regarding my motivation, like why
Mm.
I started Edo Language Institute.
Yes.
Well, it's a long story. I was actually still living at home by then. I must have been 15. Like the first time
Mm.
I saw I would see people like in forums. By then, I don't even think we had YouTube, or at least I was not exposed to it yet. So, but I would see in forums like Yahoo Answers and some other forums, people asking, "Yeah, where can I learn Edo language?" And then somebody will write, "Hey, go and spend 6 months in Edo State, in Benin City," and for me by then even I wouldn't do it because not everybody has that the time, or even the financial means to do something like that, you know and so that was like the first spark by then. Okay, I said, okay, I can actually speak it. I was born in Benin City, and then I moved to Germany to my family like when I was around almost 14.
Mm.
So but in general, I think I share, or a lot of people share that same it's not a sentiment, but it's just a fact. We see like the state of Edo language today. Even in Edo State, I know that in my cousins, I have at least 18 cousins, and it's about maybe two or three that speak Edo fluently. And then in addition to me. So, and that is like the same thing with other families that I know,
Mhm.
so there is a decline, a sharp decline. If I say like from the 90s, beginning of the 90s, there's a sharp
Mm.
decline in the language. And
Mhm.
I feel like it's unfortunate, because every language, language is part of culture, and it contains like different world views. There are some certain things that you would understand better, like some certain things, certain concepts in Edo culture that you understand better if you have a basic understanding of the language. So through the language, that would give you like a better like a like entrance or access, into some certain aspect of the culture. So yeah, I just started on YouTube. That was 2017, because I said, okay, I was still at uni, I had time. And yeah, I uploaded the first lecture, and the rest is history. Yeah. But right now, so I
But
teach mostly. Okay, go
did
ahead.
did you went to any Edo language school, or you practice it, you learn it from anyone in your life?
No, not formally. I grew up with my grandmother, so I grew up speaking Edo all
But
throughout
that
my
is not
childhood. So
enough.
yeah,
That is not
but
enough
the
for
thing
you
is,
to know how to write it. That is why I was curious. The first day I saw your video on Facebook, I said, wait a minute. Did she went to like Edo language school back home, you know?
no,
So
no.
just learning the Edo language from your grandmom. Many
Well, that
people
is
live.
like
I lived
my.
with my two grandmothers when I was
Mhm.
growing up. So I cannot write in Edo language like that. So Tell us why you are so eloquent in this language. Tell us what you did. You must
Okay,
have
on the
done
one
something.
hand,
Yes.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
I understand what you mean. Yes, because I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, it's not every. On the one hand, yes, I have this natural language that I've like natural language acquisition, meaning I learned that from my grandmother and the family and all that. But
Mm.
I also have, which I didn't mention that, but first of all, I'm generally interested in languages. So coming to Germany, so I had to learn German. So and that does something with you also, like your how would I say, like it prepares you just in a different way, when it comes to languages. But also I have a background in linguistics though. So when in my bachelor studies, so I did a bit of linguistics in my undergrad. Yeah. But today I'm in communication. So I did intercultural communications and business later in my master's. But I did have linguistic courses in my bachelor. And also I always had this passion for teaching, to be honest. I actually wanted to do like go into education. And I haven't mentioned this many times, but I wanted to be a teacher at some point when I was thinking like, what should I study in school? And I remember my father saying, "Oh, teacher, teacher, I may respect you very oh, da, 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 da." And I'm like, because we were probably thinking of what it is back home, But yeah, I've had experience, not just like interest, but I've had experience teaching, tutoring younger students in maths, in German, in English, so it's a combination of different factors that has led to yeah, all of the experience that I'm putting into yeah, Edo Language Institute. I can't hear you.
Is it Edo language or Benin language? Some people are confused. We still don't know the appropriate word or term to be used to depict this language because there are many dialects in the Edo state. So,
Mhm.
in your own perspective, what term are you using to depict the language? Is it only Edo language or you are also saying Benin language? Because few weeks ago, I contacted a Benin historian about this language, the appropriate word that we should be using to depict the language that me and you are both speaking. You understand? Those of us who are known as the Benin people in Edo State. You understand? So he said, okay, we should be using the term Benin, which is spelled Bini. Bini Edo language. You understand?
Mm.
Bini Edo language. So, from your viewpoint, what language or what term do you think we should be using to depict the language? Go ahead.
Well, that's a very good question. The thing is, again, I I I always refer to our language as Edo. So what we are speaking right now is Edo, and that's also what we say in the Edo language. We say Edo maze or Viedohi. So
Mm,
we don't say Ovie Binihi. Bini does not. Bini is a term. We know what people mean when they say Bini. So
mm,
if a Yoruba person say, "Oh, now Bini person be this," so we know that they are referring to us, right?
mm, mm,
But the thing is, Bini is not in our vocabulary. It's not a word even in Edo language, because in Edo, all nouns, meaning all names, start with a vowel. So it's either A, A, E, O, and U.
mm,
So we don't, even my name that is Steffi, if we want to pronounce it in Edo, because it's a foreign name, we
mm,
say a Steffi. So whenever a name starts, anything start with a consonant, we put a vowel in front,
mm,
because naturally in our language we
mm,
don't have words. We have words that start with consonant, but we don't have nouns that start with consonant. So if somebody's name is Kelechi Igbo, we say a Kelechi. If somebody's
mm,
name is Rose, we say a Rose, because in our language, but all our names, we have Omuwa, we have Osaitin, we have all of those names there, but they are all vowels. And you look at every word in Edo, Ame, Ukpa, Owe, everything Imosi, they are all vowels from the beginning. So the
mm,
B, Ini is first of all out of it. it's not a word in our language, but
Mm.
we know that
Yes,
used
yes,
to refer to
Steffi,
Edo.
I don't want to interrupt you. It just
Mm,
took me back to the history of Benin. When you look at the word Benin, it's something that was corrupted by the Portuguese. Okay, this
mhm,
word Benin, that Benin is depicted as Benin City today, it's a word prior to the advent of the Europeans to Benin. It was called Ubini Ubini, that was corrupted by the Portuguese who could not pronounce the name properly to Benin. So probably that is why we don't have it in our language, just like what you just said now, because Edo is the proper name for the land, Edo. So there is an origin of the word Edo. In my book that I'm about to launch a few weeks from now, I also define the word Edo in the book so that people should know where the roots of this name Edo. But when it comes to Benin, that Benin, Benin, we don't
mhm.
have it apart from the only thing I wrote about this Benin was that it was corrupted to Benin by the Portuguese who could not pronounce the name, which means it's like a foreign name that we were given by the Europeans. So right now you are saying that the Benin is not our language, it's not in the Benin vocabulary, right?
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
means foreigners, those who are not Benin, are using the word to depict us. You
Yeah.
understand? But
Mhm.
even in the Benin language, I've never seen anywhere we say, Ovie Benin hin.
Mm-mm.
No,
Does
we
not
say
exist. We don't
Ovie
say that.
Dohin.
So
We
we are
said
doing Edo is there.
we
Iguaze
have
do.
never used that word to depict ourselves. You
Mhm.
understand? When we are speaking the language, we only use it when we are speaking English and said, "I'm from Benin." You understand?
Yes.
But if me and you are speaking the Edo language, we say
Mhm.
Oviedohi, which means
Yes.
translated to
I
I'm
am of.
a Edo person. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
we don't say I am a Benin person when we are
Mhm.
using the language. Yes, this is very clear. Very,
Yes.
very clear.
And also with this Ubini thing, I've also read a few things. I'm not very versed with like Edo East. I know a few things, but I wouldn't call myself an expert in that realm.
Yeah.
But looking at Ubini or Ubinu, yeah, again that starts with U, right? It would have been a possible word if it was
Mm,
an Edo word, right? But so what I read was that the Shekiris, again, if we have any Shekiri person in on like joining in, maybe you can confirm or you can, what do you call Edo people in your language? Because apparently the Portuguese have gone to the Shekiri people to inquire about the Bini people, and then they say, those people, they are the Ubini or Ubini people. Yeah. And then the Portuguese apparently just dropped the U and
mm.
then say, Bini, the Bini people. So there are different versions, to this
Even
thing.
the
Yeah.
even the Urobos, they call us Ihuaka,
What
Ihuaka,
Ihuaka. So
Ihuaka.
and again, I don't see something wrong with other people having
Mm,
different terms, for us,
mm,
just because the same way we like, the
mm,
Germans call themselves Deutsch,
mm.
and but the English call German people German. So it's
Yeah,
at the end of the day, so you can argue and say, no, 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 we're in Deutsche, like we're Germans, but yeah, how do I say, like we're in Deutsch in German language, and then the other people, yeah, yes, you guys are Germans. It's just different terms, but still mean
yeah.
different same things. But we need to be very clear that
Mm,
well, I personally, I don't like referring to our language in Edo language. I don't say Bini, and I rarely use it in my videos.
mm.
Maybe for hashtags to sort of let people know, okay, this is the language that you guys refer to as Bini, but it is Edo language. Yeah.
Yes, the word Benin is not in our vocabulary, and we don't use it. We don't use it when we are speaking the Edo
Edo, yes.
language. Yes, we don't
Mhm.
use it here. I,
Mm.
I hope that is very clear to the audience today. And moreover, Steffi, I will bring Professor Esoe Omoregbe. She's a professor at the University of Benin. So she's teaching the linguistic department. She's in the linguistic department in the University of Benin. I spoke with her the other day, and I told her that I will bring her to the program with you So that let's discuss about this Edo language, the appropriate word that we're supposed to be using to depict, so that we won't confuse our Benin audience. You understand? The Edo audience, I will say, the Edo audience. So
Mm,
outsiders might be using different terms to depict us, but those of us who are the Edo citizens, we should have one, at least one word to depict our language that is very, very clear to all of us. You
mhm.
understand? So,
Yeah.
like that, it will help us to also promote it among those who are not the Edo citizens. You understand? So,
Mhm.
that is one other thing. So, go ahead. Tell us how many people are in your class right now.
Oh, I have to I have to actually, well, I have different groups. I teach in maximum a group of 6,
Mm,
because I just feel it's better, um for, because we're teaching, I'm teaching online, right? So each class maximum 6, but there are some where there are 3 people, some are 4 people, and they are from all over the place. Actually, most of my students are from the US. Some of them are probably, they said they will tune in today. If you're listening, if you're part of my class and you are listening right now, you can leave a purple heart, or a purple and yellow heart in the chats. Yeah, so purple and yellow, those are my brand colors for Edo Language Institute. So currently, I can only look like at my WhatsApp group. I think we're around 18 people in the group. Yeah, some of them are already done with like the class, because we,
mm,
like, I concluded with them
mm.
before going to Nigeria with some groups. Others are still continuing. So because I teach in blocks. So yeah. And
So,
also, like, probably some are wondering like where you can find me. I'm on YouTube. So just Edo Language Institute on YouTube, the same name on Instagram, on Facebook. So I'm also on Twitter, but I'm not very active on Twitter. But also just Edo Language Institute, and you find that as well also on my website. So it's just the name, Edo Language Institute. Yeah.
okay. So, how are your students catching up with the language? Are
Oh,
they
they are
finding
doing.
it simple, easy to learn the language?
They are doing pretty well. Actually, I really do hope that probably, I don't. Well, some of them said they will join in. But again, I understand that. Okay, I understand. Today is Sunday, right? So they might be, because, like I said, many of them are from the States, so there's a time difference. I'm in Germany, so at least 6 hours difference. The ones on the East Coast, and I have some students in on the West Coast as well. Um, so they, exactly, you said how they're doing. They're
Mm,
doing pretty well. Like like I said, I teach in blocks. So the one block is between
mhm,
six lectures and 8. Yeah, so maximum 8 lectures in that block, and
mm,
those are 8 different topics. So at the end of that, there's a test that they
mm,
do, and then they submit it.
mm,
So that helps them to assess also helps them to assess how far they've understood and all that. Like, we do a lot of different things, in class. It's not just this, I'm teaching you RBD or something like that. No, but
mm,
it's more practical.
mm,
Even I recently just had a lecture with one of my groups, um, about recipe. So we did owo, like how to
mm,
cook in Yawowo, and also the ingredients you need, right? So why do I do those things? On one hand, you are learning, the recipe thing, but you are learning how to follow instructions. You are learning how to describe something for somebody,
mm,
in the language. Because it's not about you just learning the words that, oh, ahe is pot, is
mm,
enough is crayfish, but rather, how do I construct sentences with this? And so in the first block, we really just go like very nitty gritty, like the basics, right? And the
mm,
grammar. And then as we progress, we
mm,
start applying this in different settings. So sometimes we go on Google, and we are doing street description. So going from Upper Sapomba Road, describe to me somebody somewhere at Upper Sapomba Road wants to go to Urban Market or somewhere, so we are looking at these things real word on Google Maps. And so they are describing where Hiagodao, then Varoberoma or Varobioma. So they are learning those things and they are doing pretty well. Like I
So
can say
which
this.
do you have grades? There are certain grades people supposed to stop taking your classes. There should be a grade level, like level
Um,
one, level two, to what level?
so the class that I'm teaching now. So can I let me tune back a little bit. So
Mm,
why, on the one hand, why I am teaching these online classes that I'm doing right now. So it
mm,
was first to because I was about to launch an online course on my website, edolanguageinstitute.com.
mm,
So, but first, I want, because I know that my audience are very diverse, and also they have different you will say Hato. They have different levels. So I have students that are
mm,
spouses of Edo natives, so
mm,
their husband is an Edo man, their boyfriend, their fiance. And I have so some of those are Americans, but I also have people in Nigeria that are married to Edo people. Yeah. And
mm,
then I have people born in the States,
mm,
right? And their parents are Edo. So they might have been hearing a little bit at home,
mm,
parents speak that, but it was never the language of communication. So the level are different. A Yoruba person that is married to Edo already knows how to pronounce the B sound. He knows how to pronounce B. Yeah, an American person does not know how to pronounce that. So that was the challenge, bringing all these people together, because I wanted to take from that knowledge as well to see, look, how do I get this all of them true? Because later when I launch my course, it's going to be a course that you take on your own without me being there. So this was more of a how do I put it, like a I don't want to use the test. I'm lacking
yeah,
the word right now, but I wanted to take a set of people through the entire course and then draw learnings from that. Look what works best for which demographic. Look what, and then with that, I apply that to the course
mm,
or the courses that I'm going to launch. And for me, it's really, really when I advertised, when I was calling for students on my YouTube channel and also on my Instagram, so people were writing in and so I wanted to join and all that. So it didn't matter what level you were, so everybody could come. But later on, the courses are going to be different levels, like a learner, like just starting from scratch, a beginner level, and then probably also maybe if you understand a few things, you might have an intermediate level. So those are the things that I plan. But one thing I know is that, because I see that in the tests that I do, when I give them a test afterward, I can see that they understand the structure. Like, it's not just learning something by heart, but they can apply it in different sentences.
mm,
We do, yeah, like, maybe not to go too much into details, but I'm really proud of my students
mm.
yeah.
The Benin, the Edo language, I'm sorry, the
Mm.
Edo language, you don't write it the way you pronounce it. Like Obowie, we have that VBE, VBI. You understand? VBI,
Mm.
you pronounce it we, Obowie. You understand? The VB, how do you pronounce it?
VB sound is the sound, like
Yeah.
like
So,
ewu for
Ewu.
ewu
Mhm.
due, or for, there's another word for that, neighbor, like, what is the word in English? There's another, we say due in the Nigerian English, but there's another word, I've forgotten the words, when the roads are not clear, like, what is the word? I don't speak English
Fog,
every day, by the
fog,
way.
fog,
Yeah, fog,
foggy,
yes, fog,
foggy.
yeah, that's ewu.
Mm,
We have um Evo, Evo, which is language. So
mm.
Devonuze is the
The
VB sound, right?
VB
Uh,
sound, yes, yeah.
yes. So names like Evakoi is also VB sound,
VB
right?
sound, yeah.
So yeah, those are some of the things that I
Ni, there's another one again that says
that is,
MWEN.
yeah,
Ringie. Or
MWENDE, as the with the under dot is me, as in
Okay.
ogome.
Oh,
So we
woman.
have this thing. So this is the for everyone watching. So
Mm,
we have we have the M,
mm,
right? The MW1 is just the same, almost the same place you pronounce it in your tongue. So the only difference, not the tongue, on your lip, the only difference is, so you, to pronounce these two
yeah.
sounds, you need your teeth, the front teeth, yeah, these
Mm,
two, and your lips. So with the, it's a bit more on this, on the on the further side. So you take the two teeth and you put on or wome. And whereas the other VB sound, it's
mm,
a little bit back on the
mm,
lip here. You
mm,
so v,
yeah.
ewu,
Yeah.
evae,
Yeah.
evankoi, all of this. So this
Yeah. Yeah.
v, v.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
You're truly a teacher. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And now I
We are
also want to
proud
say
of
that there
you.
have been people before me in the sense of that have
Mm,
laid the groundwork in this, they are not, at least not that I know of, but like there are not many okay, let me rephrase. But there were people before me, like when I look at the dictionary of by Rebecca N. Anybody that is here, if you want a really good dictionary where that you can really draw from. That is the dictionary that I would recommend. This was written in 1986. Yeah, like it's a long time ago. I wasn't even born yet. But these are resources that I like. I think where how do I say, where respect is due, it should be given. So these are some of the resources that I have used.
use.
Sometimes I'll be looking for a word. I say, okay, how do you spell this word? Because there are many things we just say like that. For instance,
Mm,
to
mm,
wake somebody up. So
mm,
it's to "hue,"
mm,
right? So Yahweh will be, but when we pronounce it, we say Huon, but it's
mm,
actually Huen until
mm,
you think about it. So I had to go to dictionary, for instance, to get that the real spelling of the word. So
mm,
there are many things that we say. Right now, Edo is still very much of an
mm,
oral language, like predominantly. And we are trying to shift. That's part of my goal with Edo Language Institute to more of like a standardized
mm,
work towards standardizing the language, because I can like mention something now. For instance, my mother and her cousins, right? They have a WhatsApp group, right? They are all so they are all cousins, right? They have the
mm,
same grandmother. But in that WhatsApp group, I'm also inside, right? So I can see the dynamic. So they all write in English. But these are people, they don't speak to each other in English. When they have their monthly meeting, it's all in Edo. Roger or Teme, Web, all those things. But when they are writing in the WhatsApp group, the communication is in English because they were not brought up with writing in Edo.
mm,
A
mm,
lot of people don't even know how to write in Edo,
mm,
and this is where a lot of work still need to be done to normalize writing in Edo. Because if
mm,
we are saying we want to save the language,
mm,
we
mm,
want to more people to
mm,
speak the language. We need to make it accessible.
mm,
We need to work towards making it also posh, making it interesting that young people want to speak it. You know, because it's the young people that we can rely on now. Because
We
I'm
cannot we
proud
cannot
of
write a
it.
we cannot, like someone like me who is a custodian of the Benin history and culture, I cannot fully write a sentence with Benin language. You understand that? So it's
Mhm.
something that I'm also looking at, that I have to learn the language, not only studying the history, but I still have to be writing with the dollar, at least basic. You understand? So
Mhm.
that is what I'm going to be focusing on from now
Mhm.
on, to ensure that I can also write with the Edo language. You understand?
No, yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yeah, and the other day you told me that there are certain things that we don't really have the word to depict it in the Edo language, like the internet and many other things that we still don't have name for them. How do we
Mhm.
formulate these names? So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, uh, great question. Yes, I did say that. Although, well, let me first say that a language is like a breathing organism. It's something that grows. Even English language, every year, new words come in. right? In French language, But even in Pidgin, when we look at Pidgin that we speak, every year, like right now, for instance, they have, even though I'm not in Nigeria, I follow on social media, they will say, if somebody say Mado, we understand what they mean, right? Those are how terms and words are formed, right? So the thing with Edo is that it just kind of stopped at some point, whether we gave up, that's not a discussion, but it's like there was a halt at some point that we're no longer formulating or creating new words.
mm,
So it's like we just use the English one because it's
mm,
easier, and
mm,
also kind
mm,
of more. The more English you can mix, and we have to be very honest with ourselves. The more English they will say, "Oh mani, ebo no gbele, because there is still this kind of a sense of superiority the better
yes,
English you
English
speak.
you speak,
The,
yeah.
the,
The more
the
superior
it's like,
you are.
yes, and also a sense of, yeah, you belong to a higher social class. And I don't. This was something I said also when we had our first informal talk. When I said, when we are, before we saying that, oh yeah, imagine zedo, yeah, zedo, maybe blah blah, was any zedo, what's the name? And that is where we have to start from, because if at the end, if I only speak Edo, I'm not going to get this kind of fancy office job. To get
Mm,
that kind of corporate job, I need to speak
mm,
English. Then
mm,
I'm going to put my children on the line. As long
mm,
as I'm in that society, that is the currency that they
mm,
understand. So I'm
mm,
going to put my children on the line very early on and say, oh, my hands at one, we want to be very now we are near
mm,
that is the
mm,
thing, because we always say, I'm your man, or why we now you understand? So those are some things we need to, like, that is where we need to start from and say, okay, what's the name? Why is Edo not an attractive language for them? So, and when we understand those things, then we can make a adjustment and say, okay, to shift to the more desired way, the
mm,
more desired direction. But with respect to creating new words, I think that would be a collective effort, but also with everyone teaching Edo as well. Like, we need to also come together and have like a certain agreement.
mm,
People can make suggestion. If, right now we don't have like a council, or so there other languages do have that, something like English language council, something like that. Maybe it's not the right term, but it's a council that sort of decide which words come into the English naming dictionary and so on. But we I don't have an answer for everything, So I'm talking right now. It doesn't mean this is something I want to put out there. It doesn't mean that I am completely
yeah.
right,
Wait, Steph,
So
yeah, Steffi, what I just realized from what you said right now, that when you look at why some parents uh, prefer to be speaking the English language to their children in Benin, that most of us are complaining that how come you are speaking English to your children, you're supposed to teach them the Edo language, is the structure of the society. When you understand, when
Mhm.
respect is applied to anyone who is
Who
speaking
speaks
the
English?
English
Mm-hmm.
language,
Mm-hmm.
eloquently, what do you
Mm-hmm.
expect? Definitely you want your children to be speaking the English language. Have you
Yes.
ever seen anybody speaking the Edo language fluently and they will call that person intelligent person? No.
Mhm.
But if you are speaking the English language so well, no matter where you learn the English language, nobody cares about that. Mostly in a Nigerian setting, they
Mhm.
apply so much respect to this English language. So many people prefer to speak the language, teach their children the language that carries respect in the society, that will also give them the leverage of success. You understand? So I've never
Mhm.
seen anybody speaking the Benin language so nicely, so eloquent, that that person deserve award, even a comium. Nobody cares, even though you speak the Edo language well. So it's just the structure of our society today that applies respect to English speaking people. So you must be speaking English to gain respect in your society, especially in Benin right now. So you don't blame people in Edo State. I would say, I'm sorry saying Benin all the time. I'm referring to Edo State. So the same thing applies to the Ishan people, the Afema, or everybody in Edo State prefer to speak the even pidgin English than speaking the Edo language. Most
Yeah.
people they
And
prefer.
that's where we need to start, with also like the coupling
Hmm,
intelligence
hmm,
with language is just language, like
yes,
me, that I'm speaking English now, right? But let's say the first, maybe until I went to maybe kindergarten, so I probably, I have my earliest memory. I think I remember around when I was 4. Maybe I can speak pidgin English here and there with some neighbors children, but at home it was only Edo. That does not mean that the child is not capable of acquiring English language or any other language. Today I speak 4 languages fluently. you know uh, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't know all of the answer, but I know that awe enoma na yegbeta. That is one thing I know. If the governor of Edo State is addressing the population, I know it's not only Edo people that live in Nigeria, but away Edo, like Edo is the host, the Edo state is host the state. So I don't understand why we'll be speaking it like the governor will be addressing. This is just an example, for instance. So if
hmm.
someone on that level, yeah, some certain, in some certain, how do I say, like in some situation, like
Yeah,
an
like
address, yeah, yeah,
high
circumstances,
ranking,
and
yeah.
he's speaking English. People look up to you, like they are younger ones that are
Hmm,
looking and say, hey, I need to start learning this English, or so that I can also be, just for an example, as an
hmm,
example. But it's not even on the governor side, even on our, on the traditional rulers side. There are different. I've listened to different Bini chiefs, give interviews in English. I understand that, but sometimes I feel like we need to also start changing that thing and say, okay, ebonize here ya the interview nwe wa translator
hmm.
ne mani ke ni here listen or you even wa here na broadcaster
So yeah,
so
but
it's a
you
power
forgot,
move. We must
you
also
forgot,
understand those things.
yeah, you forgot that the pidgin English is there. So if they have to break it down, and the English language, if they have to break it down, they will break it down to the pidgin English level, not to the local language. Never. In Nigeria. I've seen so many politicians. So the least they will go is by speaking the pidgin English in some pidgin English media. You understand? So I don't think there would be a point whereby governors or politicians in Nigeria would be speaking the local language to address the people with
Why
the
that?
way
I'm just
with
curious.
the
Why do
way
you think so?
with the way our modern society is constructing this English language, the way we are, we attach respect to the English language. I'm not sure that will ever happen unless we have to change our mindsets. We change our
Mm.
mindset about this English language. And many people they believe that the more you speak the English language, the more you are intelligent. Anybody that can, they don't even care, even though you were born in America, you understand, because you were born in America, definitely you must speak the American English. For many Nigerians, they believe that because you can speak the language, the English language, they don't care about where you learn the language. They respect you. They give you respect just because
But
of the English.
but
That English for the African setting, Nigeria to be specific. We forgot about our culture. We forgot about everything. We believe that when you speak the English language, you have high IQ. You
But
understand?
there are
High
some certain
IQ.
truths to
So,
that, in a sense of
yeah.
the language of education is still English. And I like, and if I should propose, if I am asked to propose solution, is a for lack of a better word,
Mm,
that is also where we need to start. When children, like, say, when do children go to school? Start like, okay, 3 years kindergarten, and then 6 years primary one, right?
mm,
Um, that maths is taught in English, like mathematics is taught in English. Maths should be taught in Edo language. Other sciences should be taught in Edo language. History taught in Edo language, and then also English should be taught as well, because English is already a global lingua franca, right? So, but the idea, or the reason, one of the reasons why people say, okay, they they connect this or associate sophistication or
Mm.
intelligence or
Yeah.
just a higher social class to
Mm.
English languages, because
Mm.
yeah, because you need to master English to be able to even access the knowledge that is being taught in Nigerian schools. And that is a fact. So a child that, in my case, so that must have been, I speak English now, right? But in my case, that, looking back, that was how it was. It's like, okay, at home I'm speaking Edo, and now it's time to go to school. So it's like a child in his own birth country or birth state is having to learn a foreign language in order to, you have to first learn the foreign language first, which is English, in order to understand mathematics, in order to understand so and so. You understand. So if you are telling a child where maybe
Mm.
no one na zedona wo wow, maybe your mind that a word there, addition. But another time I will afian ba, you understand? Because that is so add something. Afian ba, the person will be able to make sense of it. The child, 3 years old child, 4 years old child will be able to make sense of that, because yeah, afian mi baka, because that's the language zewa. And I feel like the learning process, the learning curve would even be higher, like, and faster with many of our children. I feel like many children are lost along the way, because it's like, okay, me, I not feel learn this extra language, so I don't understand. It's not that they are not interested in mathematics, they are not
Mm.
interested in that, but it's the language barrier in there, you know, uh, for them to even access the knowledge that is in it. And we need to be honest with ourselves. So teachers like me, it's also one of the reasons I started. The first book I wrote is a children's book, which you can see here. It's targeted as children. I'm writing in the second one because it's if we are saying the adults that we have now, you must start with the children if you want a next generation that will be speaking Edo.
Mm.
So it's the children that you have to like target. Of course, I target, like, I also address adults. They're in my classes. But my first set of book are, I directed as children, and that's not by coincidence.
Mm. Interesting. Sophie, you have done a wonderful job. According to the United Nations, they said yes, decades, maybe 4 or 3 decades from now, something like that the Benin Edo language will go extinct. So, what do you think about that prediction? Do you think that with the way we are approaching the Edo language right now, those of us in diaspora, even those at home who are not promoting the language, what do you think would be the prospect of this our Edo language?
Good question again. I'm not like I don't know, data analyst or something. I can't give a prognosis, but I think if people make that statement, it should. It's probably or certainly based on data, based on what they have, um, of
Mm.
what they have observed over
Okay.
the past years. So there might be a certain truth to it, even because when I was in Nigeria, right, or me growing up, speaking Edo was still pretty normal. I remember, like, the streets that I grew up in is still, Edo, today it's no longer like that. So sometimes though, when people prognose things, they say so and so things like would be like this in 15 years time, 20 years time, because of your reality, or
Mm.
you might, when I say you, I'm not necessarily talking about you. Because of our reality at that very point in time, we might not understand that, or we might underestimate it. So, but if I, like I said before, like, I have at least 18 cousins. So people,
Mm.
if I'm around that 18 plus me, like 19, I am the one. I was born in Benin City, and I had the privilege. The only reason I'm speaking Edo today is because I grew up with my grandmother, right? And if out of those 19 people, right, at least only like three can speak Edo fluently inside. So that means only three can pass that on to the next generation. The
Mm.
rest is
Mm.
there's
Gone.
already a breakdown
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
So you
Mm.
have to calculate like two
Mm.
generations. Like my cousins, I already have a cousin that is, like they are 18, they are going before some years now. They will also be married, have kids. And then, that is, so when you calculate that, and I do think or I do believe there is that risk, of the language going extinct, when the last native speakers die, when the
Mm.
yeah. So and I think it's now left for us, for every one of us, because also another thing, to be honest, there are many of us that speak the language fluently, but still we do not raise our kids with it. And so we, even in the diaspora.
It can be difficult in the diaspora. It can be difficult a little bit in the diaspora. But those at home, I think they have the opportunity to teach their children how to speak the language. You understand? Especially at home, you teach them because when they go to the school, definitely they're going to learn the English. English is spoken everywhere. You understand? So those at home, we are also playing use this medium today, to encourage parents back home to please teach their children how to speak the Edo language, because speaking multiple languages will not stop them from learning the English language. That is just the mindset that when you raise your children in an environment where you speak the Benin, the Edo language all the time, that those children might grow up. Maybe the Edo language, will compete with their English language at school or even in the public sphere. I don't think so. Every human being has the capacity to speak multiple languages. Like what you just said now, that you can speak 4 languages fluently. So the same thing applies to everybody, every human being. So we should not be afraid that teaching your children how to speak their language at home will compete with their English language, maybe when they are assessing the employment or communicating in public arena. So that is the mindset. I will tell you, that is the primary mindset. Like what we said earlier, that respect is attached to speaking English language fluently. So the same thing I'm talking about right now. So we should do away with that mindset. Understand the fact that human beings, we are all equipped with this brain. We have the brain. I did a brief research about the capacity of our brain, how we can manage many languages. So they said we have the capacity of speaking multiple languages. You understand? So we should not be afraid of that. We can speak both English, Edo language, and many other languages if we want to. Right, Stephanie? I hope I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, in addition to that, I don't think, because I think this has been like the how do I say, like, the approach that we have taken so far, like, oh, wala wara zedo wagima zedo. But at the end of the day, eh, maybe some people want to see, like, what is the benefit for me, So at the end, what I can just say is that, again, and this applies to, okay, to many people. Yeah, I can't say most, to many in Benin City, right? So wetobu where English in where zeno where zoe say, as in, you also don't speak it fluently, or or not on a certain level. So you are transferring a broken,
Yes.
yeah, the one that you also know, that's what you are transferring to your child.
Mm,
Whereas, and this is what I can tell you also from my own life, like taking myself as an example. So, right, when you teach your child that, like, a language, or when a child acquires a language, like, on a, for lack of a better word, on a perfect level, right.
mm,
So, meaning that child can speak, for instance, in this case, we're talking about Edo, so Edo
mm,
fluently
mm,
understands, like, the grammatical functions and everything. And also, of course, we do not learn, when we are learning our language naturally from our parents.
mm,
Our parents don't sit us down and say, this is a verb, this is noun. No, it's
mm,
just the natural language acquisition,
mm,
right?
mm,
From hearing, and
yes.
imitating.
Mm,
But that sets the tone. That it's like it gives you a solid foundation, for the Edo people that are in the chat, like, foundation in Edo, we call it Olu, right? So Olu Wamana Omana, maybe no, they can't be, the rest will crumble. So it first it gives you that the child that foundation, and I can still say till today that Edo helped me in many ways to learn German faster. There were
Mm,
just some certain things that were that I could compare better. Even though I already acquired English, I was already speaking English when I was learning German, right? Because in Nigeria, I already grew up with two languages. But the fact that I could speak Edo, there were just some certain things, that that was easier for me. So I would think about a certain concept in here that they are trying to explain to me in German. I'm like, oh, this is the same thing. It's the same thing in Edo language. So it made sense to me. So this is just one thing I'm saying, that you're actually doing your children a favor. You might not see it at that point in time, but it's you are giving them the best foundation that will help them to also even learn other languages
mm,
better instead of a broken foundation,
mm,
right? So and that's that. And also these days people go travel out of the country all the time. I would have never thought that I would be living in Germany today. That decision, I didn't make that decision. It was my parents that made that decision. But still, people will leave the country either voluntarily, like on their own, or through family migration and all that. But latest, when they come abroad, that is when they will notice like some certain things that they are missing. Like there are many, some of my students that was until they got here, it's like, oh, they see other people from other countries.
mm,
Even I've been in contact even with Rwandans, like people from Rwanda, people from some of the children that are born here, they speak the language fluently,
mm,
their
mm,
language from home.
mm,
It's just a different approach, the way, because their parents speak it at home. That doesn't stop them from learning German, from
mm,
learning English, from
mm.
speaking those languages fluently. But make sure that the one that you are transferring, the language, the first language that you are giving to your child, make sure is a solid one, is a correct one, and because that you are really doing the child a favor
The favor,
a
yes.
long time.
Yeah. So that the child will learn it in the right way.
Yeah.
You know. So let's look at the group of students in your class. Can you identify their family background? Are they born here in the diaspora, or they were brought from back home to the United States or to any country in the West?
They are, like I said, it's a mixed group. It's not it's a very heterogeneous group that I am teaching. So i have
Okay.
i have people that were born in the US, right?
Mm,
Both parents are Edo, right? So
mm,
even some of them at home, like sometimes I'm teaching and the person will say, oh, my dad just confirmed this, my dad just walked in, my mom just said this, you understand? And then there are people that are, like I said, they are married to Edo people. So those, I have
mm,
different groups. I have I have
okay.
I have some that are non-Edo natives. So I don't want to, for if they are in the chat, if they are
Mm,
here watching live, they can write
mm,
here. But I don't, for privacy reasons. So I cannot
mm,
tell you where they,
okay.
more than that. So like their husbands or their fiancé, their boyfriend is an Edo
Mm,
man, right? And then I have people that have one part Edo parents. So let's say whether the mother is Edo
I do,
or the father is
father is
Edo.
a do.
So they were born here as well.
Mm,
So they will say, okay, I want to learn, some
the
of them.
language.
I
Mm,
had someone in my group whom the father has passed, and this child, the person has always wanted to learn the language,
mm,
and now it's kind of okay. So reconnecting with that part of our identity,
mm,
right? And then I have people that were born in Nigeria, like just like me, they
mm,
were born in Nigeria, spent some, maybe they were there till 5 or 10, and then
brought
they
to the
moved
West. Mm,
over here,
mm,
and then, and like I said, when you are in the diaspora, that your sense of identity is kind of, or the need to identify yourself,
mm,
solidly, it's kind of intensified,
mm,
right? So people will say, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Nigeria. Yeah. And so for people that are more
mm,
familiar with Nigeria, they will say, which group, which ethnic group? And you say, oh,
mm,
Edo State. Oh, you speak the language. No, unfortunately. So for many other people, it's kind of weird
mm,
that you won't
mm,
speak your language. So and then you start explaining, oh yes, we only grew up with English. We
mm,
did,
mm,
and so then that needs come there, come
mm,
from this. Oh, okay, let me, sorry. let me
mm,
look for resources, and then they start their research online, say, oh, where can I learn and do? And many land on my channel
mm,
through that, so it's a very
mm, 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 mm.
mixed group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
So, will you encourage your students one day to appear on Nebo TV? You can ask them, those who volunteer to appear, so that we host all of them, maybe during their graduation, or they
Mhm.
can just decide, okay, let's appear on Nebo TV so that we can talk to them. I can also bring Professor Esoe as well, so that we make it like a group discussion. So do you
Mm.
think that would be possible? Can you talk to them? Ask
Sure,
them.
I can propose the idea, but they will have
Consent.
to, like, yeah,
Okay.
accept,
Mm,
yes. So that's up to them
mm,
to,
mm,
if they want that. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
sure, I can.
So
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
thank.
sure many are watching right now. It's just that
Okay.
maybe they don't want to be on
Okay.
the
You can
spotlight.
talk.
So,
You can talk to them and let me
mm,
know how many of them consent to it.
mm,
There should be a consent
mm-hmm,
from the student. You understand? So just let me know how many of them are willing to appear on Nebo TV, so that we make it more bigger group. I will bring Professor Esoy. So
mm,
Steffi, we are about to end to this discussion. While
mm,
next time I'm gonna bring Professor Esoy Omoregbe. She's a professor of linguistics at the University of Benin. She's teaching the Edo language there. So I spoke with her a few days ago. I've already told her about this show. So she's willing to join us to discuss about this Edo language, how we can preserve the language for ourselves and our future generation. All right. Thank you so much. If you have anything to add to today's discussion before we end the program, just go ahead.
mm. Well, like, I'm just reading some comments in
Mm,
the
mm,
in the chat. Someone left the last one, said, like, Edo can never be, or I cannot be extinct because
mm.
we have an Oba, and
And
many of us
many
who
of
believe in the culture.
the
Well, yeah, that's a very, how do I say, what is this word? Optimistic view, which is great, but we still have to be realistic. You need to work with data, what you have at hand, and then,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
and then with that's how the decision is made. It's not just
yeah.
being enthusiastic about the culture alone, but you really have to do something
Mm,
um,
mm,
that keeps the language alive. That's just in response to that from
mm,
Omoba Nedu.
mm,
Yeah, but in conclusion, I want to thank you, Miss Netman, for having me, and for everyone who joined in,
mm,
from everywhere you are. Kevin, number one fan from day one. I know this person like a long time. Yeah,
okay.
but I mean, through YouTube and all that. So thank you for joining in. Yeah, it was fun for me personally, being here, sharing some of my views, and I look forward to joining you also on
Mm,
other on future occasions. And yeah, like I said, for those interested in my work, you can follow me on all major social media outlets, Facebook, Edo Language Institute, YouTube, and so on. And if you have other questions, write me. You find my email address as well, on my pages, also on my website. So there are many different ways. I definitely will respond. Maybe even if I don't respond immediately, because again,
mm,
I do have a full-time job, outside of Edo Language
mm,
Institute. Yeah,
mm,
but yeah, it's been a pleasure
mm.
being here.
Thank
So thank
you,
you so much. Thank you.
Steffi. Thank you for what you are doing, preserving the culture, because they said the language is the foundation of culture. So you
Mm.
preserving the culture by teaching the Edo language in diaspora, I think you are doing an amazing job. You know, you are doing an amazing job in preserving this our language that everybody is saying that it will go extinct if we don't take care of this language and preserve it. So as young as you are promoting the language, not only promoting, teaching the language. So well done for what you are doing, and we appreciate you. All our Edo people, all of us, we appreciate you for what you are doing, Steffi. So next time I will bring you back to the program. Next time it will be like what I said earlier, with Professor Esoe Omoregbe. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching, all our viewers today, and all your students that joined this program today that left comment. Thank you all for watching. If today is your first time of joining our program, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like our page on Facebook. Thank you all and have a wonderful day. So,
Yeah.
Steffi,
All right.
what's it?